Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. Today is Thursday, March 14th, 2019. Huh?
Pi Day. 3.14.
No, today's the 14th. It's Thursday.
3.14. March the 14th. Pi Day.
Oh, Pi Day. I thought you said it was Friday. I'm like, what? Pi Day. Yeah, sure. Okay. You know what? I'm confused enough to get the freaking year and the date right. So, I mean, this adds some more to it. Thank you. All right, everybody. Uh, Absolutely beautiful weather-wise here today. I mean, it's still overcast, you can see. The sun is here, but it's kind of hazy out. But we are actually sitting at 67 degrees here today at the homestead. And yes, we still have snow. It's starting to melt, which is nice. So I am definitely ready for the snow to be gone so that we can start getting out here and getting some stuff done, which will be fantastic. But today's actually, weather-wise, feels fantastic. So, all right, let's get into today's video. Kind of an important topic, I think, and I'm going to explain what I mean when I say this. A lot of preppers will die after S.H.T.F. So you would think, well, why would a prepper die? Because they've prepared, they've been ready, and why would they die? Well, there's two reasons why preppers are gonna die after S.H.T.F. One would be because they would be targeted. That would be the one reason. And the second reason that preppers would die after S.H.T.F. would be, and it wouldn't happen right away. It would happen in time. Uh, you know, a lot of preppers stockpile a lot of food, which is a smart thing to do, but they don't have alternative plans for when that food runs out, okay? And so after that food runs out, then you're going to see those preppers start dying off because they haven't prepared properly. Preparing is not about just preparing with food, water, beans and bullets, okay? It's about what am I going to do? How am I going to continue on after, that runs out? Because eventually everybody's stockpile of food that they've had prepared for S.H.T.F. is going to run out. So what do you do? How do you, you know, combat that? Well, the biggest thing, and I've talked about this a lot, is gardening. Had, you want to watch them, please? No, they're over here somewhere, behind. So please. Um, so anyway, okay, there they come. But anyway, so the gardening is going to be a big thing, and gardening's not. People say save your seeds, have a bunch of seeds, and that's all well and good, and you should have a good stockpile of seeds as well. But if you don't know how to garden, the time after S.H.T.F. happened is not the time to learn. There's a huge learning curve when it comes to gardening. I've been gardening since I was a kid, so it's just something that's always been in my family, and we've always done it. So there is actually a skill set to it. There's things that you have to do, as far as like weeding and keeping an eye on stuff, making sure that the plants have enough water, and those type of things. And even the best gardener in the world is going to have years where certain crops are going to do better than others. And I myself learned that lesson, if you will, 2 years ago, when I really loaded up on tomato plants, and I most of my garden that year was tomato plants because I was planning on doing a whole bunch of canning with tomatoes, and there was a blight that came in, and just like literally out of my 18 tomato plants, I think I may have, if I was lucky, had 10 tomatoes that were edible. Everything else, I mean, the plants grew great; they looked fantastic, and then it just didn't produce, and it was a very, very failed year. But when that type of thing happens, and it's not life or death, it's not a big deal. But after S.H.T.F., that's going to be a life and death situation. So obviously last year I really diversified my garden, and I had a lot of different things in there. I will never make that mistake again as far as the tomatoes go. There's companion planting, putting certain things in together so that they can grow together. And but again, it's like there's a lot to gardening. There's a lot more to it than just putting seeds in the ground and waiting for them to grow up so you can get this bountiful harvest. So the best time to learn how to garden, and I've talked about this too, is now. Figure out what works, figure out what doesn't work, because once S.H.T.F happens, guys, and I've talked about this as well, the woods are going to be hunted dry in a matter of no time. Back in the Great Depression, the things were almost hunted to extinction, and we had a lot less people on the planet at that point in time. So what do you think is going to happen in the modern day and age when in the United States we have 330 million people and everybody's hungry and everybody's out there in the woods banging away? Those woods are going to be empty pretty quickly, okay? So that is going to be a huge, huge issue. So we're going to end up being gatherers and growers. That's going to be the sustainability after an S.H.T.F event. So knowing your wild edibles is going to be hugely, hugely important. In the fall of every year, you know, and again, this is depending on where you are in the country, but I'm going to go by the Northeast. You know, in the fall of every year, you're going to need to harvest all those apples and you know, cherries and pears and you know, anything else that you have growing. Those are going to need to be harvested. In the spring, you're going to need to know that, like, when the raspberry bushes come in, when to get out there and get those raspberries. You know, and knowing how to can is going to be another huge thing, because you're going to want to have canning to be able to preserve stuff through the winter so that you have food through the winter, because that's what's going to be the killer. That cold weather is going to kill people pretty quickly if they don't have the food to sustain themselves through that winter. So, I mean, those are things that really people need to take into consideration. So, knowing how to garden, knowing what your wild edibles are, knowing what to gather, you know, in Mother Nature will provide. I mean, you get out there in nature and it's all there for you if you know what you're looking for. And unfortunately, a lot of people have not a clue in the world what they're looking for. So that makes a huge, huge difference, you know, in life and death in that situation. Like right now, it's not life and death. But so now is the perfect opportunity to learn this works, that doesn't work, and make your mistakes now when it's not going to be your life if that stuff doesn't come in. I mean, if you put all your eggs in one basket and say, okay, well, we're going to put in this huge, huge crop of, again, we'll use tomato plants as an example, and some blight comes through and kills all those plants, and you get nothing out of that. I mean, what is your backup plan for that? So, you know, being able to live on potatoes, I mean, that's a great source of growing crops. Okay, if you have potatoes, potatoes can be a huge bumper crop for you in an S.H.T.F situation. The Irish lived on potatoes quite a bit. That was their main staple, because in the soil that they have over in Ireland, it was the one crop that actually grew. And so, you know, those are things, you know, if you have a greenhouse, you know, knowing what works, what doesn't work, you know, it helps extend your season both ways. You can start planting earlier, and you can, you know, grow your crops later. So, taking them in? Okay. So, you know, those are things to think about as well. Okay. So, again, a lot of preppers are going to die because they haven't prepared properly. You know, Band-Aids, beads, and bullets are fantastic, but you need to think beyond that point. Like I said, as soon as you can, getting crops in the ground, and you know, even, you know, what do they call them? I'm trying to think. The microgreens. Even if it's microgreens, it's something. It's some kind of other type of food intake. You know, you're going to get real tired of eating the same basic staples that you've loaded up on after a while. So having other things and other options is going to be a huge, huge thing. It's going to be hugely important. So I want you guys to think about that, okay? And so I want to definitely hear your feedback. What do you think? I mean, how, you know, as preppers, a lot of people that watch my channel are preppers, and is your thought process in this same kind of thought area where I'm at? I mean, are you preparing beyond your food storage? Because again, eventually that food storage will be gone. I mean, my plan is, depending on what time of year S.H.T.F happens, is use my food storage in conjunction with what I'm gathering, with what you know, wild edibles that I have, what fruits that I have that I can harvest. So all those go into play as far as, that's my thought process ahead of time. I mean, knowing, like I said, knowing your wild edibles is going to be a huge thing, because if it's summertime, you can pretty much go out there every day and right in nature, and that food is right there for you to eat. So you wouldn't have to really hammer in your food storage. You're going to want to save that, if you can, for those cold months when you can't grow things. I mean, anybody that's watched the channel knows we've been pretty much hunkered down, riding out winter here for the last several months. There is no out gathering anything at that point in time. There's no wild edibles to be had. So, that it's the season of the being dormant, and we're waiting for that warm up and get going with everything else that we're doing. So, something to think about, guys. I think it's really important. If you haven't learned gardening, learn now. Figure out what works and what doesn't work. So, like I said, again, I definitely want to hear your guys' feedback on this. And again, I just want to let you guys know we have a sale going on right now. Legacy is doing a sale, which we also, whenever they're doing a sale, we do it as well. 20% off everything as far as Legacy products goes. And also, they have the 183 Mega Sampler Pack, which is normally $380. It is on sale right now at $229. And on my website, prepreneurs1.com, if you're interested in that one, just contact us and we'll do the discount for you. It's $150 savings, which is almost 40%. So it's really good savings on that pack, and it's a 183 meal pack. So if you are interested, please, for that one, let us know. Everything else, you can take the discount at the checkout, which is March 2019. So just letting you know that is available right now, and we are doing that sale. Remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. It really isn't, so we never know what's going to happen. Remember, too, we are all in this together. This is a big family, this planet Earth, and we're all the big family that's on it. And we need to really try to watch out for each other if we can. Remember, too, STD, guys. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to work towards, whatever you're trying to accomplish, work at it methodically. Don't do things out of fear. People panic out of fear, and we don't want you to panic. I want you to be calm. I want you to be focused, and just do what you need to do, and you'll get there. You really, truly will. So, that's what's going on, and so stay away from that negativity too, because negative people want to bring you down to their level. They're miserable and unhappy, and that's how they want you to be as well. So, I will talk to you all soon. I hope everybody has a great day. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.